Hello everybody and welcome! Russia's invasion of Ukraine has put a strain on the relationships between Russia and the rest of the world, to put it mildly. While all of this terrible development is happening down on Earth, there is a place where people from Russia, the United States and many other countries all around the world have to work together: the International Space Station. Could the current war and subsequent reaction by the rest of the world tear the station apart? First, let's have a look at how the ISS was constructed. Nowadays, it is a 440-ton behemoth measuring 73 by 109 meters. But it started out with the Russian Zarya and the US Unity module in 1998, a symbol of peace and collaboration between former enemies. Then came a lot of other elements over the coming years. The latest addition were the Russian Nauka and Tidal modules, both launched in 2021. By the way, I did a video on Nauka back when it launched, link is in the description and on the top right. Since you could say there is a Russian and an American part of the ISS, in theory it would be possible to separate the two and they could go their separate ways. In theory. The reality is a bit more complicated. Actually, a lot more complicated. You see, getting into space is one thing. Staying in space and having a sustainable habitat for humans is another story. Due to the station's comparatively low orbit, it needs to boost its orbit from time to time. Or it has to perform maneuvers to get out of the way of space debris or other unpleasant things in its path. Only the Russian modules provide this capability. In theory, a docked spacecraft can perform orbit-raising maneuvers, and this is mostly done with docked Progress cargo vehicles, so it is feasible that a Crew Dragon or Starliner, when it is operational, could boost the station's orbit should Russia decide to separate their modules from the rest of the station. But the rest of the station does not have control thrusters to change orientation. Also, there's power to consider. See those giant solar panels? These are mounted to the US module Destiny. Generating electricity on their own would be a significant issue for the Russian modules, since the originally planned science power platform Solar Tower was cancelled due to budget cuts. What it boils down to is this: the Russian segment of the ISS has to rely on the US side to provide power. Then there is life support. Closing the hatches between the Russian segment and the rest of the station would prevent Russian cosmonauts from falling back on the other life support systems on the US modules in the event of a failure, which were plentiful in the past. Equipment in the more modern segments are rack-mounted modules that can fit through the cargo hatches. The design of the Russian modules precludes exchanging failing equipment, in part due to their comparatively small hatch size. It either has to be repaired or turned off. Italian astronaut Luca Parmitano reported in 2020 that the originally installed computers aboard the now 22-year-old Zvezda no longer work and that it is now just a wall ornament. Inside the same module, a system called Electron is used to produce oxygen by electrolysis, splitting water into hydrogen and oxygen. It has had many issues over the years and even had to be deactivated in October 2020. So what other punishment could Russia or the US enact on each other aboard the ISS? Well, each country could order their respective crew members to no longer assist the other nations up there. This would be unprecedented and cruel from either side. People drifting through certain death in a pressurized tin can have to be able to trust and rely on each other. Putting a rift between them would be catastrophic, and also would raise the question if they would follow these orders. Who would be able to check on them? This is a picture taken on April 26, 2015. You can see Russian cosmonaut Anton Shkaplerov and NASA astronaut Terry Virts celebrating the 38th birthday of ESA astronaut Samantha Cristoforetti. Both are currently on the ISS again, and Shkaplerov has celebrated his 50th birthday on February 20th aboard the station. Do you really think they would be willing to go up against each other just to satisfy irrational power moves? We hold astronauts and cosmonauts to a higher standard. I certainly believe that includes knowing when to do the right thing and not what you have been ordered to. Then there's the question of getting up to the ISS. With SpaceX's Crew Dragon, the United States finally has their own capability of launching humans to orbit after the space shuttle was retired in 2011. For the 9 years in between, the US had to rely on the Russian Soyuz to get up to the station. Now there are plans to share seats between Crew Dragon and Soyuz. That could be put on ice in light of the recent political developments, but still, either nation has the capability to send up humans. However, this is not true for other spacefaring nations, be it under the umbrella of the European Space Agency ESA or the Japanese agency JAXA or other space agencies. I know India is currently testing their crew vehicle, but it is not ready to launch yet. And this problem puts a bit of a different light on the recent calls for human launch capability for Europe made by astronauts as well as ESA Director General Josef Aschbacher. But to answer the question at the beginning, no. I do not believe that tensions between Russia and the US will lead to the ISS being split up. Each segment of the station is relying too much on the other for that to be a real option. Also, the Russian space agency Roscosmos has declared that they want to continue their cooperation with NASA. Same thing for NASA. They officially declared that they want to continue ground and on-orbit operations together with Russia. The fact of the matter is this. There's no other option for Russia to perform human operations in space aside from the ISS. Talks about sending cosmonauts to the Chinese space station Tiangong cannot be taken very seriously right now, since it would not be possible to send them there from the launch facilities Russia currently has access to due to the orbital inclination of Tiangong. Also, when Russia invaded Crimea back in 2014 and was punished with sanctions, Russia threatened to block NASA from access to the ISS. That didn't happen. We see a lot of posturing and grandstanding during these times of crisis, but when the dust settles, I believe, I hope, that the International Space Station will still be what it has been for more than 20 years. A shining beacon of hope that us human beings can put our differences aside and work together towards a common goal: the peaceful exploration of space. This would be the point where I originally planned to end the video, but I want to give you something on the way this time. In times of crisis, it is hard to know what is real information and what is propaganda. Over the past years, social media has become another battlefield aimed to manipulate public perception. Your timelines and feeds will be full with pictures and videos, some of them gruesome. You will see children's bodies, crying mothers, destroyed civilian property. Some of these will be real. Some will be from previous conflicts, and some will be flat out faked. All of them are weapons in the propaganda war. In times of stress, our emotional responses outweigh our capacity for logic and reason. The propaganda warriors count on this. They want you to share without thinking, to paint the adversary as evil. I implore you to only rely on trusted sources and, whenever possible, verify information before you share it. Be a bulwark of sanity in a world gone mad. And keep looking up.
If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel for more and follow me on my social thingies. The links are in the description. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.